Yeah, that's right. Calvin Pete from the DMV. Mr. Fingers. This week in UGA football. Get ready, baby. Let's go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope everybody is doing well. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you all doing? It's your boy, Mr. Fingers, coming to you from Zagneth Central live from the 405, where the wind comes whipping down. The wind actually does that when it catches the flagpole down by the post office. It's a really big flag. It makes that noise. It comes whipping down the plane, and that fella right there, he is the brother from another, the sexy mother of the ace of base in the place, in your face. Calvin P from the DMV.
Why don't you do that sound again?
How you doing
Hey.
How you
Oh
doing,
man,
brother?
we can laugh, we can have a good time. It's not Misery Monday, it's Miracle Monday, my brother. Miracle Monday.
My God, you could say that again and again and again, my dude, because it was touch and go for a good long while there. A good long while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah. How was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was pretty good once I got past the oh man. Well, you know how it went. Listen, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, if you're watching this video, you already know what happened. Georgia played Georgia Tech this weekend for rivalry weekend. And it started off very rough. We did not look like the once and future champions. You know what I
it looked like
mean?
it's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day.
It looked to me like we were getting ready to have to eat a lot of humble pie and maybe some of them, maybe even some bean pies.
There you go. Yeah, after that first score, I wasn't concerned at that first score. We didn't score anything in the first half. I was a bit concerned, but
Yeah, Georgia held scoreless in the first half. Georgia Tech comes out and scores 17 points.
Yeah, 17-0, and I think that's the first time we've been held scoreless. I believe in the first half in a very, very, very long time.
No, I think Alabama did it too. Did they not?
I don't know. I'm not certain. I thought we at least scored one.
We may have. It has been quite some time. I just know they jumped out to 28-0 lead like it wasn't nothing.
Right.
That part.
Yeah, no, I definitely remember that. I definitely remember that. So, that is stuck in the craw there. Yes, sir. It will be forever. But
yeah, the Dawgs managed to pull everything together.
Speaking of pulling everything together, did you pull everything together? I know you you were thinking about upping your blood pressure meds there for a little while in the group chat.
I definitely up my blood pressure meds, y'all. You don't understand. I try and be one of the most optimistic guys, and if we lose, it's like, well, you know what? We had a bad day. This is what happened, and come out and talk about it objectively. I was in the group chat like, yeah, I went off. I went off.
Yeah, that was a side you hadn't seen in quite some time.
I went Eddie Murphy raw in the chat. I was like, these guys don't deserve to win. You know, they've been resting on the laurels of the guys that came before them and all of it. Now here they are, and they just getting ready to throw everything away. And people was like, "Yo, do we need to do a buddy check on you, bro? You all right? You good?" I was like,
I
"Nah,
told
I'm
you there was
not
one
good."
quarter left. I told you there was one quarter left. We got. I mean, it wasn't time to jump off the bridge quite yet. So we had one quarter left. But
Oh
I
yeah,
can't.
that was in the third quarter.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm just saying we had another quarter left. You know, the full quarter left is what I meant. But I mean, but no, I feel you. I feel you. I mean, it was kind of like, rinse and repeat. You know what I'm saying? It looked like, like I was talking to you off camera there, like, it was great to see Bobo kind of reaching into his bag a little bit, as far as that end around, that was a surprise. That was the momentum boost we needed. You know what I mean? And then
Did
you know that
Bobo reach into the bag and did Kirby cuss him out on the microphone from the sidelines?
bro, your guess is good as mine. I don't know. But he fell back into that whole predictability. Like, I mean, if I can predict it, then there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
Uh, but hey, I mean, like I said, I mean, the people talk about Carson. I mean, he's like Matty Ice. I mean, he's got ice in his veins. He don't get rattled. Like, I mean, he showed out. I mean,
Well, you can say that again because there was a couple of games he definitely turned into Matty Ice in the second half of Super Bowl 51.
right,
We don't talk about them because
right.
they didn't, but still, I digress. Yes, we're still salty about that. Looking at you, Matty Ice. We love you. You're the greatest quarterback in
183.
franchise. The greatest quarterback in franchise history. You're the greatest quarterback in franchise history in terms of accomplishments. But yeah, you still owe us for that one.
You know what? Add insult to injury. It was like, the ball that he I guess his Hall of Fame number is 283.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, 2083. And they got to give the boy, they got to give him a 20. I don't know. But anyway, no, I mean, look at what he's done though. I mean, like, he hasn't had an interception in the last 5 games. No, not last 5 games. I can't. Has he? I'm not sure if he had one about. No,
I
he
think
did.
in the last three. I
Yeah.
mean, he did have a pretty flawless game here. 28 of 43, 297 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, 28 of 43, that completion rate is not good, but there's a reason why he didn't complete a whole lot of passes. Looking at you, Arian Smith.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't do you any good to have 3.6. You can run a 3.6 40, but you can't catch the ball.
Yeah, and like I said before, sometimes he catches it, more times he doesn't. So, but
To include what would have been a game winner in overtime.
for sure, yeah, we shouldn't even have to go to that 8 overtime. But but hey, end of the day, we won the game. I was tired and I hadn't done a darn thing but sit there and watch football. Go back and forth, like I was watching a tennis match. But I felt for the team, man. They had to walk from one end of the field to the other end of the field and one end of the field and back and forth.
You know what though? After having played 4 quarters and then having to play multiple, one play overtimes.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach always said, "You better be hustling. You better be hustling." I would take full advantage of that walk. You
Oh,
understand me?
absolutely.
I would be lollygagging. I would be the last one downfield and in place. Because
Yep.
they don't need a rushing. They gotta set the ball and they gotta set the ball and make sure that the timekeeper is on point and everybody's so
Yep.
hey, I ain't mad at it. Take your time.
Not at all.
That's what band wrote a song back in the 80s said, take your time, do it right.
Take your time, do it right. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that I heard somewhere. Did you see how long that? I think that game was like 6 hours. That's the number I heard.
Somewhere in there because the game started kickoff is at like 6:30.
Well, it was 6:30 your time, but it didn't start till like about 7 your time, like they normally do.
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now.
Or maybe 7:45. Or my time, 7:45. Kickoff.
Where is it? Where is it? End of quarter. It doesn't show it on here. I'll have to. I hate that. They show you everything but the stuff you want. Some of the stuff you want. But anyway, kickoff was at 6:30, and the game ended around about 11:30 local time. So that was a 5-hour football game, easily.
Yeah, that was crazy. First time I've ever seen one like that. I mean,
it ain't the first time. It ain't the first time I've seen one. Right after we moved here, like to 2018, I want to say. I forgot who it was, and they had to play 8 overtimes or something like that. It was some insane number.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, like, I mean, you got to run out. I mean, you just about got to run out of plays. Like, you know, they were saying, like,
that's what Kirby said.
You know, they've seen everything you got pretty much.
Oh, man.
But hey, hats off to King, man. I mean, you know, King played a well of a game. He threw in 3 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns. He rushed for 3. And,
I can tell you exactly what game it was that went all those overtimes. All I had to do was type in 7 overtimes. It was Texas A&M versus LSU. They combined for 146 points.
That's exactly right.
It took them 7 overtimes to get there. That's the one. Matter of fact, I remember. I think I messaged you like, bro, you watching this game?
I think you did. Yeah, I do remember now you say that. Yeah. I don't think I was watching it though. But this is the only time I've been invested that long in something like that.
Hey, but like,
up and down.
After a day of drinking and watching college football, and I don't drink anymore. Actually, yesterday marked 10 years for your boy sober on yesterday. A whole 10 years without a drink of alcohol.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So, but yeah, after you've been drinking all day long and you got home, you get ready to crash, and somebody hits you up like, bruh, this game is on 12 overtimes. You're like, what? I'm watching. It's Saturday. I don't have to go to work tomorrow. Let's just say a couple. I'm gonna have to miss church, but I'll say a couple extra prayers. The Lord knows my heart. He knows I like football. God likes football too.
That's right.
8 overtimes is absolutely insane, and just watching them each score, and nobody could best the other. But again, Arian Smith, I realized the ball was tipped. For those of you that did not get a chance to see the game, I believe it was the 5th or 6th overtime, and Georgia Tech had failed to convert on the 2-point conversion. All we had to do was get the 2-point conversion. I forget who it was that tipped the ball. Beck throws the ball. It's a great pass. The initial receiver, I think there was some miscommunication too, because I think the initial receiver went up for it and then he was like, oh, that might not have been for me, because you saw him draw his hands back, but he tipped it.
Yeah.
Arian Smith is in the back of the end zone. The ball hits him in the hands. I think he was going through the same thought process. That's not for me. But obviously, there's nobody behind you. There's nobody in front of you. All you have to do is catch the ball and the game is over. Now, granted, we still won the game, but this is a symptom that has plagued Arian Smith all season long.
Yeah, I think it was Bell. I think it was Bell that actually kind of jumped up there. I think Bell was actually the person that tipped it, if I remember right. But hey, think about the wear and tear on the defense. I mean, like, what does that show about the defense? Both defenses, mind you. I mean, like both defenses. I mean, they were, you know, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, and for us to stop King, you know, after he had been pretty much
after the game he had. King had more yards rushing by himself than Georgia had all combined with 6 ball carriers. Only by 2 yards, but still, he ran for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and I mean, the kid was unstoppable. But you know who gets my game ball again this week, and you know who I'm gonna say. Dirty Dan Jackson, boy.
Oh man, that dude! I mean, he's something else. Dirty Dan is something else. He came out with the big hit. I mean, he hits too, man. If you watch him play and him tackle, I mean, he lays it down.
I watched the same game you did. He hits.
I know, but every game he goes out, and even Malachi, I was watching his his presser. Either it was like yesterday or some maybe today. I don't know, but he talked about Dan, about how how his work ethic and how he hits that Dan's the man, Dirty Dan.
Yeah.
But I mean, he goes at it full force, and you could definitely. I mean, he was a difference maker. I mean, had he not forced that fumble, then we might be singing a different tune.
Yeah, definitely singing a different tune. And it was like, and I do the shorts. I do the short videos on the weekends. I call it Gym Saturday, and Gym Sunday videos, sitting in the parking lot at the gym. And the one thing that I said is that we have to win this game. This is a must win. Like,
Yeah.
we're still going to the conference championship, but this is a must win, because if we win, it gives us the advantage of, not that we want to go to the conference championship and lose, but it gives us the advantage of a cushion should things not go our way next week.
Right.
Because winning that game moved us up in the rankings, which gave us some cushion to be able to still get a play-in spot if things don't go our way on Saturday. But you lose that game this past Saturday to Georgia Tech, and then you lose the conference championship to Texas. End of story for 2024. My thoughts.
Yeah. So So they I believe, well, they put a graphic up there. It said something like if we won against Georgia Tech and we won the SEC championship is 98%. We'll
Oh yeah.
whatever. And then if we did either or, if we won the against Georgia Tech and lost, it was like 97. But if we lost both, it was 17%.
Right. Because
to make your point.
Yeah, because at that point, like, even if we if we lose to Georgia Tech and then lose in the conference championship, that's now losses, number one.
Right.
And then two, you got two or three lost teams behind us in Alabama and Ole Miss that beat us.
Yep.
Which would then bump them up the ratings and definitely increase their opportunity to get in the field of 12. Although I do believe Alabama is the ranking out.
There's three of them, right? There's Alabama, South Carolina, and Tennessee. I think are all like out, right? Depending on what happens.
Well, Tennessee's right behind us at 6 in the AP.
Right.
Alabama's ranked at 11.
Oh, is it on? Am I misspeaking? Was it Tennessee? I thought.
Yeah,
it was
this is the AP rankings. Yeah, these are AP rankings. Now, Ole Miss is at 15.
Okay.
So Ole Miss would really need some help. They would need something like for maybe Arizona State. Well, they would need Arizona State and Boise to both lose, because Arizona State's in the Big 12 championship with 2 losses. Boise State is a 1-loss team from the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
So they would need either one of them to lose in the conference championships, and then potentially they could get back in. But at that point, with Ole Miss at 15, they still got Miami and South Carolina ahead of them.
Wow.
So who knows how that goes?
Hey,
who knows?
But look at just going through these players. I mean, just going through the stats. I mean, like the game. I mean, we had Frazier. Dwight Phillips, Jr., my boy Cash, my Cash, boy Cash Jones.
You love you some Cash Jones. Cash is kind of like a Leatherman. He's just like, he's kind of the Leatherman tool. Just got flyers, and
yeah, but hey, he's got that. He's got the stash, and he's got the mullet. I mean, like that. You know what I mean? And
but so does the guy Fitzmagic, and what's he doing these days?
We ain't talking about him.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm not dogging Cash. It's just that I don't think that the level of talent at Georgia is, well, it's obvious that the level of talent at Georgia is not as prominent as it was through the 2021, 2022 seasons.
No.
So he doesn't have those. He doesn't have enough of that around him
Yeah.
to shine because
Well,
you
He
kind
is
of
a
got
producer, right? He is a producer.
Oh
So, I
yeah,
mean,
he shows up and makes plays when the plays are called for, and I
now
definitely think.
I got a question for you. So Roderick Robinson was back, and it looked like he was doing his thing. And you think maybe he did anything to kind of spark the? I mean, obviously not the first half, but I mean, like anything. He looked like he was running hard to me. Looked like he was running. He was running
Oh yeah,
down
he
here.
definitely was running.
Yeah.
He definitely was running hard. I know there's another Robinson that
Hey, we don't talk about him too much.
I had high hopes. I had all the high hopes, but I have learned uh after watching Branson Robinson, you know what? Just wait until they get on the field and see what they put out.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of dudes. I remember growing up and you would see a dude and he was bigger than you and he was all muscled out in middle school and you still had matchsticks for arms. And he want to fight and you scared he's gonna kill you. And you swing and get a lucky punch and knock him out, bust his nose, and then he's sitting over in the corner crying. He like, man, you ain't no bully. You know what I mean?
I busted his nose.
Right. Like Branson Robinson looked like he was just gonna bully people on the gridiron. And I mean, he's good from three, 3 to 5 yards out, but
Yeah.
he's not a
Well,
not he might have been in high school, but he wasn't a breaking open break tackles and break big chunk yardage runs in the SEC. So
yeah. Well, think about this. We didn't have ETN either. So I mean, like, are we gonna have him back this week?
I haven't checked the injury report, sir,
I
and
haven't either.
I hope for that young man's sake that Mr. Etienne that he has not hindered his chances in the NFL draft.
But our boy Frazier took the load. I mean, like he put it on his shoulders, and he balled out.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the Phillips. I mean, he did. I mean, like he had 2 carries for 13 yards, but I mean, he got some touches, and then Frazier, and then Roderick and Cash, and even Beck ran 7 times for 10 yards. But spread it around, and then you look at we were talking about it earlier about we have three tight ends in rotation now. So we got Delp, we got Lawson Lucky, and then we got Usyk.
Usyk. Who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this guy Usyk. Let me see if I can find that picture I had pulled up. His name is Ben Usyk. And there's a picture of Mr. Usyk on Google. Where is it? It's got to come up. I'm working on getting it to pull up right now.
But
there's a picture of Mr. Usyk on Google. When you see it, it is going to make you absolutely lose your brain. Let me see if I can share it here. If you are over a certain age, or if you're a cinephile, that's a fancy way of saying somebody likes to watch movies. You may be familiar with a gem of a film that ran under the radar. It was called Falling Down. It starred Michael Douglas. And Michael Douglas went through this. He just totally went over the deep end over the course of this movie, and he continued to go deeper and deeper off the deep end as the movie progressed. Now let's see if this will pop up. Can I zoom in? Y'all see that picture right there? That with the tape on the glasses and everything. If you've ever seen that movie, that is right there, Ben Usyk. He definitely looks like a guy who had a pocket protector and everything and got picked on.
Kind of like Revenge of the Nerds, Poindexter.
Yeah, he probably got a decent GPA though. He came to UGA from Stanford, and you got to have at least an 8.6 GPA to go to Stanford. That's one of those uber smart California schools.
I can't even sniff any college like that. I couldn't even go to Georgia. I had to go to Georgia College. But but no, hey, look at the defense. I mean, look at Smell, Mondon, Smell. Smell had 13 tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack, and
Oh yeah.
fumble loss. And you had C.J. Allen. He showed up big time, big plays from him. And then Malachi, Malachi did his thing. But yeah, I mean, and Jalen Walker, Dan Jackson, of course, KJ Bolden, he was mentioned a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, I was happy the defense. I mean, it could have been worse. You know what I mean? But I was happy that we had the resiliency that we seemed to show all year. I mean, most of the time. The resiliency. I can't even say the word. Resiliency to to come back. Because I mean, think about it. We were 17 down, bro. I mean, like it was just
Yeah. A whole 17 down, not just a little bit of 17 down, a whole 17.
No,
it wasn't like
anybody
11.
No.
And could not get any momentum going coming into the second half. So that spoke volumes as well. Let me circle back to this real quick. Let me circle back to this falling down real quick, just so y'all can see that I'm not crazy in what I'm talking about. So you had the picture of Ben Urasek, right?
Yeah.
Now there, it'll come up. It's Michael Douglas. What is it doing? I want to do it. Man, this thing getting on my nerves. Entire screen. No. Window. There we go. Preview. Why won't it show the preview?
You don't want to be doing
Chrome does not have permission to access your screen. Yeah.
Michael Douglas don't want you to show his picture.
Oh yeah, but if you've ever seen the movie, just trust me. Google the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas. Pull up a picture of Ben Urasek. You will see. I'm not BSing. It's absolutely hilarious. But Dawgs pull off a big win. Wind up winning 44-32 in 8 overtimes. They have now wound up clinching the SEC championship game berth, where they will match up against Texas. Right here, I think, is a good point for us to say hello to those of you that have been watching that we have not acknowledged yet. I'm Mr. Fingers. That is Colin P. from the DMV on the INTERNET with me, talking football in Georgia, who's in the SEC. You see? And right here, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. So don't go far. We will. I said that one time already. I don't have to say it twice, but I will say it for a third time. We'll be right back. Y'all don't go anywhere. And we are back. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this evening. This is This Week in UGA Football. I'm Mr. Fingers. She's Colin P. from the DMV. We just got done talking about Georgia Tech this past Friday evening. Great game, 8 overtimes. Georgia pulls out a 44-42 win after walking into the locker room down by 17 points. The fans were really excited about it, and they had a little ditty to sing about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes.
What's that coming down the track? What's that coming down the track? It's the mean machine in the red and black. It's the mean machine in red and black. Nothing finer in the land. Nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Obnoxious Georgia fan. Go Dawgs! Go Dawgs!
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but did you see him totally bait the crowd into singing Neck?
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. I did see
That boy,
that.
that
Yep.
boy is that boy is a menace. He must be protected at all costs.
He definitely is.
Great
But hey,
pass man.
he's I actually like him. I like him. Him and Saban have a good kind of
Yeah,
relationship.
they're good. It's a good mix of old school coaching football values and the new school young and brash without being too far into generation Gen
Like,
Z.
you'll catch Saban give him the side eye quite a few times. It's like, what is wrong with you, man?
He's not. Listen, hey, Saban.
Oh, he's funny.
I missed the trash can. Saban walks that walk, man. That is not an act he's playing. Like even the commercials with Dion, that is not an act.
Hey, the new ones that he's got by himself, not just the Affleck commercials. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the one on the porch or whatever. I can't remember who it's for, but yeah, he's got a couple out now. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's a funny guy. Like, I mean, seriously, yeah, I like him.
I love the Affleck. I love the Affleck commercial where the blimp, where Dion shows in the blimp, and he's like, "Miss Terry's definitely not gonna like this." And it's just like, and like I can see him and Harrison Ford sitting on the porch together because they so much remind me of each other.
Yeah,
I
can see that.
it's like two guys that don't want to be grumpy old men, but people just keep doing stuff to make them be grumpy old men.
Yeah,
That would be a great sitcom.
absolutely. Hey, I got a question for you.
Wait. The
Go
two
ahead.
of them is next door neighbors with Clint Eastwood living across the street.
The what?
Nick Saban and Harrison Ford as next door neighbors
Oh yeah.
with Clint Eastwood living across the street.
Yeah, that would be something else. But that, and you know what, Harrison Ford. I mean, like when he came back for was it the Force Awakens or whatever it was, the Star Wars. He came out and he was reprised for that. He still had the same kind of mojo, the same kind of attitude, like in the other movies that he had, and he just he's funny.
Yeah, I forgot who that was. There's somebody that does a spot on impersonation. Oh, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill does a killer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw him. He did it on Kimmel, didn't he? He did it on one of the shows.
Yeah.
But
Getting back into this, we got the matchup coming up with Texas, and we saw what Texas did with Texas A&M this past weekend. Really was not much of a. It wasn't even much of a contest. Like Texas got out to a big lead, and then just played keep away for 3 quarters.
Yeah, I mean 17-7. I figured it'd be more, more scoring than there was. But I didn't necessarily.
I did too, but it's what it is, and I didn't really catch as much of it as I would like to. I was at a friend's house, and he's a LSU fan, so we were watching the LSU OU game. My condolences to those of you that are OU fans, and even greater condolences to those of you that are OSU fans.
Yeah.
9 conference losses this season, dude. Lost I don't think I've ever seen, unless they just ran the table completely backwards. They lost. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen a couple of teams do it, but for a first-year team and a team that was presumed to be, I mean, they're not in the SEC, but for the team that was the presumed heir apparent to the Big 12 to lose every conference game this season. So chances are pretty good that that Coach Gundy's going to be having a nice little talk with the AD moving forward. Yeah, anyway, not to get off the beaten path. Texas and Texas A&M, it was a little bit of a snooze fest. Not a lot to see there. Just Texas A&M just could not get it going. They actually looked more like the Texas A&M that played against South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks beforehand. I think the South Carolina loss just kind of took it out of them. And even though, that was a lot of buildup for that game. There was a lot of buildup for people to sit down in front of their TVs or go to that stadium and watch that game.
Yeah, and even more. I mean, on the socials, people, Texas fans are beating their chests over like beating A&M and like saying that SEC, what the SEC is hard. I like it. It's easy to get to. Well, granted, hey, congratulations, you got to the SEC championship. For your first year in the SEC. But I mean, really, who have you played? I mean, like you haven't played like.
You sound like Uncle Lou now. Who have they played, Woo?
I mean, it's cliche, but I mean, honestly, like who? Like they haven't played the bulk of the best SEC teams. Like the
Let me
SEC
play.
teams.
Let me play devil's advocate. Have we or has Georgia or has Georgia not had some years where it's like, don't want to call you a paper champion, but
Yeah,
I mean
last year.
you gotta play who's in front of you. But yeah, last
Yeah,
year, perfect case in point.
absolutely, and maybe the year
You
before
got
that.
you gotta play who's in front of you, and then at that point we had the benefit of playing in divisions.
But we didn't beat that
So
chance either, right? I mean, like I'm saying, like if you go come in and say you're new sheriff in town, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it didn't make sense.
yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I think the biggest problem for this year, and it's going to be next year as well, because remember, we're playing the same opponents. It's just that
Yeah.
we're flipping locations.
Right.
So I think one of the biggest problems is I don't. The conference schedules are kind of etched in stone. Like
Yeah.
the 2025 conference schedule is already etched out. The 2026 schedule is kind of sort of etched out. That's got wiggle room because now the whole merge with Texas and with OU and Texas is now complete. But when that merger was announced, they had to scramble because remember, we had a game here in Norman this year
That was the
against
worst thing could ever
OU
happen. They
that got canceled.
Yeah.
And I'm mad about that too, bro, because I would have been down there.
I was too. I was going to come see you. But no, I mean, think about it though. Think about Missouri. Their first year in. They won the SEC championship, right? So I mean, like that was, and they made their own path. I mean, like they beat folks. That's a starting point.
Yeah, but I think the Missouri thing was I don't know. I wasn't studying it back then. I'd have to go back and look. But this is something where schedules were already made out, and then it became finalized that Texas and OU are coming, and then things had to be shuffled. So I personally am not for me, I'm not going to go after Texas for not maybe necessarily having the greatest conference schedule and playing people because they really had to shuffle things around to get them and OU into the schedule. And I think they did a pretty good job for what they did. But I do think that going forward, I think you come 2026, I think you're going to see Texas with a little bit more of a tougher road to hoe.
Right. All I'm saying is just recognize before you start, beating, the kind of I mean, like to recognize what you did. I'm not saying they didn't play nobody. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I feel you. But come on, man. You can now again. Me playing devil's advocate. Did we not do our share of chest thumping when we beat up on the cupcakes? Like I think we had last year. I think last year we had. Was it last year's schedule? We didn't have a tough game. We didn't have a tough game on our schedule until we got like the week 6 or 7.
Dude, all our games were at home. I think we had like 3 away games or 4 away games or something like that. I mean, that's why we
had a rack of home games. Well, we've got home games this year, next season. So the games we went on the road for, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, those will all be played in Athens. The ones that were played in Athens will be played at the conference games that were played in Athens will be played out of the. So we'll get more home games this year, which would be a good thing for the Georgia fans because.
Hey, all in all, though, I'm. How you feeling about the rematch? I mean, like it's going to be different. Both teams have progressed, so
Thank you for bringing that up because I did a little short on that yesterday. I've gotten to the point where I'm tired of rematches. I'm tired of a rematch of a game from during the regular season. Because think about it, every other season we kind of wound up getting one of those. Like we played
Alabama.
We played Alabama in the SEC championship, still got in the playoffs, turned around and played them in the national championship. Now it turned out to be a great game, a very dramatic game that we won in grand fashion with a big explosive play with the the third and Ringo play,
Yeah.
which will ever be. That'll now be a play that will go down in infamy along with Run Lindsey Run. My God, a freshman, the hobnail boot. That will, that will go in Georgia lore. But I'm kind of over the rematch thing, man. I want to see us play. It would have been different if it was a deal where, okay, we had already played Texas, we had already played Bama, and let's say there was and we'd already played Tennessee. Let's say, Missouri was a real powerhouse this season, right? And they had one loss, and we hadn't played them, and we know that Missouri always plays us tough.
All right.
I would like to, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be looking more forward to that game because it's a team that we have not played.
Right.
It's like,
and we
okay,
talked about that
because
we were talking about A&M, right?
Huh?
We were talking about A&M. You would rather us play A&M. Remember, I asked you that same question, and you were like, "Well, since you'd rather play A&M because we have not played them yet."
Well, and that's because we were going to play one of those two teams. I'd rather play A&M because we hadn't played them. But let's say it was somebody else, like Missouri or something like that. I'd want to play that team because we hadn't played them. It's like I want to be able to say we beat, who. I mean, still you have to play who's in front of you. But
Right.
I would like to be able to say, you know what I mean? Because if
I got you.
Here's the thing with the rematch, because you know how sports fans are and you know how analysts are. If Georgia goes in and they beat Texas again, well, it was to be expected. They already beat them earlier in the season.
That's true.
And on the flip side of that, if we go in and we get beaten, especially if we go in and we get shellacked, they'll be like, well, we saw this, that, and the third with the cracks.
Well, it's hard to beat somebody twice. You had
Georgia's armor is hard. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like if we go in there and we play against an 11-1 Missouri who was hanging 30-40 on everybody,
right,
and beating everybody by 2 scores, and we go in there and we go toe to toe, we have another classic battle, or they just run us out of the stadium, then it's okay. Yeah, that was a great game, and the Dawgs just gave it all they got. They didn't have it, or the Dawgs were not ready. But if we go in there and we beat Missouri, then we have beaten everybody that has been lined up in front of us with no repeats.
Well, there's no question, right? That's where you're getting at. There's no question that we.
That's all that is for me. Plus that, it's like I've already seen that. Like this, I've watched. Here's my example. I've watched hundreds, maybe thousands of movies in my lifetime, right? There's only a very small handful that I will watch again if I see them on TV. Of course, you know which one is on the top of the list. We don't have to go there. Life, Eddie Murphy Life.
Oh my God.
Eddie Murphy and Martin. Ace Ventura. And you'll see that most of these are comedies. The Matrix. Like anything that's in my top 10, I'll watch. But like if it's something I've seen once and I'm like, oh, I've seen that already. I don't want to watch that again. I'll switch off. Like you, dude. I don't know how you watch football games like more than once.
Well, I mean, I watched the Georgia game just because I'm happy we won. I don't watch it when we lose.
but that plays back into my point. I'd rather not see the repeat. So what are your thoughts about this game? What do you think about this matchup?
So I mean, I can kind of echo your point. I mean, I'm kind of neither. I mean, I can understand not having a repeat. That kind of cheapens it just a little bit. I can understand what you mean by that, but well, I mean, I was looking at some of the players. Malachi, to be specific, Malachi had they actually pointed a question to him like, what do you expect? What do you expect, or what do you see differently? Watching tape, blah blah blah, about this Texas team now as opposed to the one we beat early in the season. And he said, it's not just them. We've grown. Georgia's grown as a team. We still, we have things we need to work on. They're explosive. They have things. They're a different team than they were. Those weeks ago. But so I mean, like you saw. I don't know if you saw ESPN has got us as being dogs. They like 2.5. Like they were getting 2.5, and you know how that goes. I mean, like we were 2.5 against who was it that we beat? Well, I guess it was Texas, wasn't it? But last time. But yeah. So I just hope that we went to school. I just hope that, you know what happens when we kind of have a rough game, we lose a game like that after that Ole Miss game, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully the same outcome, same team shows up, hopefully everybody's healthy. And we kind of, sidestep that injury bug. And, Beck plays the way he's been playing and cuts, just basically just no interceptions and no turnovers and, makes good decisions. And hopefully Arian, if he's on the field, can catch the damn ball. And then, run the rock. You know what I mean? Chase the chicken rock. Run it.
Good God, for the love of God, catch the ball, please, Arian Smith. I would love for it to be hopefully not a play that we really need to have because we're behind, but I would just love to see just Arian Smith streaking down the field and have Carson drop a dime right in the breadbasket and have him just grab it, pull it in, and just not even break stride on the way to the end zone.
I was going to say, if he catches it, he's hauling it. So I'm saying the biggest thing he can do is catch it. You know he ain't going to catch him because he's fast. So, I mean, that's all you got to do.
You ain't catching no crackhead.
Catching no crackhead. He's there. R.I.P.
I ain't going to tell nobody else.
I ain't the smartest man in the world. But I'm over here. Hey. You can have your night back. I steal. I don't kill.
Yeah, that's another one that's on my multi-watch list.
Trust me, man, you can go back and forth. That one and Don't Be a Menace. That one I could go for days. But yeah, dude, I'm pumped. I'm just glad that we, and as Carson said, this is not the our road to the SEC championship wasn't, like we wanted, but hey, we're there. So,
right. Now that we're here, we need to show you why we deserve to be here.
And I would love to win. I would love to win the SEC championship and just get in that playoff, and then just kind of run. I hate to say run the table, but I mean you got to essentially run the table to win the national championship. If you get in the playoffs, but I just think we need to avoid the injury bug and protect the football. That's my two bugaboos there.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you 100% on all of that. I'm just looking up the SEC lineups for the last. So let's see. 21 was against Alabama. 22 was against LSU. Last year was against Alabama. We were in there. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we have been in the SEC championship game every year except 2020 since Kirby has been at Georgia.
Yes, sir. I was gonna say we've been there 5 times or five times, I guess.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
About to be 7.
And how many of those have we won?
2.
3? 2?
2. We won the first one against. Remember, we beat the snot out of Auburn. And then we beat the snot out of Auburn, went into CFP and beat OU, and then lost to Alabama in the national championship.
See, that was a repeat because they whooped us during the regular season, and we played them in the SEC championship and whooped.
And then we turned around and played Alabama in the SEC championship the following year. And old Saint Nick pulled the switcheroo.
Yeah,
and then he pulled the switcheroo back because in the championship game. He put in Tua for Jalen. And then the following year in the conference championship game, he put in Jalen for Tua.
Yeah.
Tua for Jalen.
And we didn't practice for Jalen. To speak.
And then 2019 was the year of Joe Burrow. So no disrespect to Joe. Joe was on fire that year.
That was no chance.
And then we sat out the next year because Florida beat us. I don't remember. Florida actually played in the SEC championship. And then they turned around and fired Gus. Then they turned around and fired your boy.
Who that? Oh, Razon?
Mullen. What's his name? They fired Mullen.
Oh, Dan Mullen?
Yeah, after that SEC championship, they fired him and they hired Billy.
That's right.
Sun Belt.
That's right. You know what? Whenever we played LSU, you know what it remind me of is when the Falcons played Denver in the Super Bowl. We knew we should. We made it to the Super Bowl, but we knew we were gonna get smoked by John Elway.
Yeah.
And we did. We got smoked. We got shown the shed. But
Now, in terms of statistics, Georgia has won the SEC championship in they've only had 4 wins in 12 appearances. 2002, 2005, 2017, 2022. Because the championship did not exist as we knew it. Did not exist as we knew it before 1992.
right.
So, anyway, I'm looking now. Here's the thing. What does Georgia need to do to win? Georgia needs to. The defense, the secondary definitely needs to tighten up. The front seven need to be alert. We're playing against Texas. Now, we know Quinn Ewers is not going to run. He's not a running quarterback. But we now see that Texas is going to use baby Wedgehead. Is what I like to call him. We're going to use. They're going to use. They're going to use Arch.
There you go.
They're going to use Arch as they're going to put him in for some special plays to do some running. So we had to be on the lookout for that. They'll probably put Dan Jackson on in the spy.
Yeah.
Secondary has to be uber vigilant. Remix has to be uber vigilant because both Quinn and Arch have an arm.
Mm-hmm.
And are not afraid to use it.
Very smart too.
The offensive line has got to be more on point than it ever has been. And Carson has to bring his A game. I think that's basically everything on the team, to be honest. But that's what it's going to take to win. You got any predictions for this one?
I'm not gonna go full Tennessee on it. I mean, like I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it'd be within a score. I think we win about. I don't even know the score. What's the line on it? I need to check.
2.5. You said?
No, the over under.
Oh, that I don't know.
Over under. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be 50 or something because I mean it'll probably be 50 something, 52. Okay. I would say, I think we'd win. Maybe by a field goal. I would say by one score. I think we'd win by a score. I would say, let's go. 38-27. Let's do that. 38-27.
You got that written down?
I can. I think I can remember them. Probably not. Old brain. But yeah, no, I think you hit everything. I mean, basically short of saying like we need to score more points than they do to win the game. But we definitely need to keep an eye on Arch because he's got wheels and he can move. We saw a little bit of that in the first time we saw him. And then I think we need to blitz more, to be honest with you. I mean, like I don't think we've had that many blitz packages, called. Even during the overtime, we did the point conversions or whatever we brought the house a couple times. And I think that's how you get putting Ewers rattled, you know what I mean? But that opens up to our secondary, like your point that you just made. So I mean, our secondary's got to be on point if we do that. So
yeah, we do. The secondary 100% has to be on point because if our secondary is not on, we're going to get carved up.
Yeah, but he got Malachi, and I think Malachi stepped up. Like he's one of the leaders now. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, they look pretty good. They look pretty good against Tech, but I mean, they got exposed. I mean, like they've been getting exposed, here and there throughout the whole season. But some worse than other games. But hopefully they can get them together. But no prevent.
No,
No
no,
prevent.
because he'll carve that up too.
Yes, sir. I hate the prevent. That's what we did with Rick. I couldn't stand that.
Yeah, Rick was pretty good for that. And it
So what are you thinking?
while it worked for us at least 10 times a year, it always bit us in the butt those other two.
Because everybody knew what we were going to do.
Yep.
What you got for a score, though, bro?
I'm gonna go. Well, we've seen what the defense can do once they figure out the schemes. So I'm gonna go with another. I'm gonna go with another 2-score win. I say Georgia hangs up another 40. I'm gonna give them an even 40, and we'll say Georgia wins this one 40-29.
40-29. Yeah, over under is 49.5. I just saw that. So 2.5, 49.5. And they've got us
So
at a
that's
60.
what we got. That's what we got there, y'all. We got Colin. You got him at
38.
38 to what?
27.
38 to 27. I got him at 40-29. You guys feel free to drop your comments in the comment section below. By the way, thank those of you that are watching and for hanging out with us. We appreciate you greatly for checking out the show. And I want to go ahead and say this: the season is not over. There's much more of us to come, but we definitely want to say a very great thank you all.
Absolutely.
For tuning in and hanging out with us week in and week out. Even those of you that are watching the replay right now, we do appreciate you. Having said that, we're going to move on to the final segment of our show tonight. We always have final thoughts. What you got for us tonight, sir?
Well, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I kind of going to say what you normally say. I mean, like, life is life, man. I mean, I hate to say the cliche, but the only two things that are certain are death and taxes. But it's getting and that as I get to approach middle age, your life around you kind of changes. So I've had, over the past year, I've had like two people that actually I work with have passed away, different reasons. And then I had a guy in my group last week. I think he's a little bit younger than me, like a little over 40, had a stroke. And I was just, it's getting a little close to home. And it's kind of, make you kind of watch your step a little bit, kind of what, just kind of watch your surroundings and watch what's going on. But I always said if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck. And if I didn't step in it, it'd fall on me. and that's the definite truth. So if, and I definitely believe in the law of threes. I mean, you got to watch out for that third one. Everything happens in threes. But long story short, enjoy the time you got on Earth, man. And just it takes a lot more energy to be vengeful, mean, mad, hate somebody, whatever, than to be, it takes more energy to frown than to smile. You know what I'm saying? Life's too short. Just to sound, at the risk of sounding more cliche, but life's too short. Enjoy it while you're here on this old rocking cat spinner. But I'm just lucky enough that I've got, some people that even though you're in Oklahoma, my brother, I mean, I'm happy to spend every, like Mondays with you and I talk to you, during the week and whatever like that. But I'm glad. I tell Sean all the time, I'm happy that, he put me, put us back in the same, same line there, back in the same, talking. I couldn't get that out of my mouth. But anyway, very happy. But yeah, just that's just me personally. If you can't get over something, hey, who be it for me for me to tell you otherwise? But just watch yourself and like you said, try to stay healthy.
Yeah. But, I normally I try and go a different direction, but I'm going to go ahead and second that motion. I'm seeing here that a mutual friend of ours, good sir, bartender at Finnegan's at one point, who was fighting brain cancer a few years back.
Are you kidding me?
That posted that he has another growth, and it's not as big, but not as big. But he will be undergoing surgery to take on another growth here. And this is for those of you that know us, you can probably figure out who we're talking about. We're not going to put their name out, but
I know
this is a guy that is younger than both of us, that got married and found out he had a kid on the way, and next thing you know, boom, he had a growth. He's made a full recovery, but that's been 2-3 years since he had the first surgery, and now it's back, and he's got another kid on the way, and so we just wanted to send our love out to the homie, bruh, the guys. Me and Colin and I are with you.
Prayers being sent, man.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know if there's anything that you and the family need. And I bring that up for a reason. And I've been saying this a lot because it's been happening a lot. Because as you get older, your peer group will start to thin out just because of the fact that we start to leave here. I think I shared on the show a little while back that a friend of mine I hadn't talked to in a couple of months, I went to check on him, and I hadn't heard from him, and I went to check on him, and I found his obituary. And I had just last talked to him about a month before that. So yeah, when people say appreciate the people you have while you have them, they mean that. Because they're here one minute and the next day are gone. And you don't even know. I just found out last week that the kids' grandmother on their mom's side passed away. And it's been a year. I didn't even know. Well, and that, for those of you that sounds a little callous too. It suffice to say, one of my former spouses and I, we don't things did not end well, and her side of the family just kind of, I won't say they did anything, but there just was no communication back and forth. And so, my former mother-in-law passed away a whole year ago, so life comes at you fast. Enjoy it while you have it, but appreciate the people you have in your life while you have them.
Yep.
Because you could see them. How many times, dude, even before we got in the middle age, how many times do we hear about the occasion when, you see a RIP and you be like, get out of here. I just saw them at such and such the other night. And they left the bar and something unfortunate happened.
Right.
It wasn't one of those old age things. It was just the light, somebody ran a light or slipped on some ice and the car rolled over or some unfortunate accident.
Yeah.
Life is short.
It is. If it ain't them, it could be you. So watch yourself and each other.
If you got a grudge, squash it. Because at the end of the day, standing over a box with your friend's body in it isn't the time to be saying, "Man, I wish I had."
Not to mention, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to be that kind of bitter. You know what I mean? I've tried it, and it's just like, dude, it's not even. And once you get older, like our age, and up toward middle age, it's just like, nah. I mean, don't have time for that stuff. Got to get busy living or busy dying, one or the other.
Right. So, and every day that you get up out of the bed, you are closer to dying than you are to remaining living. So
that's why I say I'm happy.
The law of averages will catch up with you sooner than later. Anyway,
I'd rather be. As long as I'm vertical and breathing, I'm all good.
Yeah. Not to bring the show down. Didn't mean to bring the show down on a morbid note.
That's a happy note. Everybody have fun with your life.
I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving weekend. The guy in the red suit with the beard is right around the corner. I see all the delivery trucks all over town. So yeah, and there's another thing. Be kind to your folks that are out there doing your deliveries. Don't give them a whole bunch of hoopla about my package was supposed to be here yesterday. I worked in that industry, and I'm here to tell you, it is nonstop. It is go from 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning till 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night. And
Yeah.
every single person thinks that their package is special. So don't go off on your carriers just because you didn't get it the minute you wanted it. Because that thing that you wanted so bad in 3 years is going to be collecting dust in your attic somewhere. And you will have cussed somebody out because you didn't get it when you wanted it. Plus, that's not what the holiday's about anyway. We know that. So anyway, we love y'all. We appreciate you for tuning in. I think we ran everybody out of the room with our final thought because nobody
one thing I wanted to say is I thought about you because my folks were up here for Thanksgiving and we had a big old pot of mustard greens, man. I thought about you.
Man, don't even do that to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed my Chinese food, but we decided to have Chinese for a reason because we didn't feel like cooking and we didn't know if the kids would come. We didn't know if the kids were coming or not. So we went with the Chinese, and then they showed up and it was like, man, I want Chinese food. Damn. I joke. I'm happy to have an opportunity to have them over anytime. They are more than welcome to come over and wash clothes and sit down and hang out with us while they wash clothes. It's the same stuff I used to do when I first moved out. I go by my mom's house and I need to do laundry. You know, Mom, can I bring laundry? I had a washing machine. Don't get me wrong. I had a washing machine, but I'm like, can I bring laundry? She's like, sure, bring your laundry, bring the babies. Come on over.
Hey, Mama's going to be Mama.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Colin and I had a great Thanksgiving weekend. We appreciate championship, Georgia versus Texas. You got the predictions. We'll see how they came out. If you got one of your own, drop it in the comments. We'll see who comes up with the best guess. We're gonna get out of here. We'll be back next week. You'll see me ranting and raving, sitting in front of my gym on Friday, Saturday. But until then, you guys be great. Go be great and be great towards one another. Until then, it's me and Colin signing off, saying, as we say each and every week, go Dogs.
Hey, go Dogs.